Tokyo to the enchanting landscapes, come explore Japan with CNN.
Yay, my first friendship bracelet.
And experience the best of this rich nation.
A desire to create timeless beauty everywhere.
Appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you.
An epic adventure to Japan's remote corners.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Business is all about making connections. But some connections are easier to make than others. With a CNN partner hotel, the world is always at your fingertips. CNN partner hotels, connected to your world.
I'm Rafael Romo in Atlanta. This is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I'm Alex Michaelson, live in Los Angeles. We are following two major breaking news stories here on The Story Is tonight. Fast-moving developments in the investigation into the suspected abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And at least 9 people killed in Canada's worst mass shooting in decades. Let's begin, though, in Arizona. And the biggest break so far in the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. A source telling CNN that the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department have detained a person for questioning. That individual was picked up during a traffic stop in Rio Rico, a town south of Tucson near the U.S.-Mexico border. Authorities are stressing that this person has not been charged with a crime, but a search warrant is now being executed at a home in Rio Rico. These are pictures from a short time ago right there. As of now, a law enforcement source telling CNN's Josh Campbell that authorities do not know where Nancy Guthrie may be. That's important. They do not know Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts. Now, all this comes after the FBI released new video and images on Tuesday captured by Guthrie's Nest doorbell camera. It shows a masked, armed individual attempting to block the camera in the early morning hours of February 1st. Hours later, Nancy Guthrie was reported missing by her family, and authorities maintain their belief that she was abducted. Authorities still have not publicly identified any suspect, but the director of the FBI, Kash Patel, says the agency is looking at potential persons of interest.
I will say we have made substantial progress in these last 36, 48 hours thanks to the technical capabilities of the FBI and our partnerships. And I do believe we are looking at people who, as we say, are persons of interest. But as you know, with any investigation, you are a person of interest until you're either eliminated or you're actually found to be the culprit or the culprit's involved. And that's the stage we're at right now.
CNN's Ed Lavandera back with us from Pima County with the latest. Ed.
We have some new video that we can show you tonight from the scene that is unfolding there in Rio Rico. What you're about to see is video that has been confirmed to us that was involved in this traffic stop. It's a silver Nissan Rogue, and our crew there in Rio Rico captured this video just a few hours ago. You can see the car surrounded by a decent number of law enforcement vehicles there in Rio Rico, and this is happening not too far away from where that area and that street has been blocked off and cordoned off by law enforcement investigators tonight. This traffic stop happened along the service road of Interstate 19 there on the south of Tucson in the town of Rio Rico. And then just a short distance from there is where you see the scene unfolding from what we understand are Pima County investigators as well as the FBI evidence response team that is conducting a court-authorized search of a home there. They have that street blocked off, and from what I could tell from satellite images, there are about close to 20 homes on that street. That entire street has been cordoned off, and it is filled with investigators here tonight. We have spoken with a woman who says that she is the mother-in-law of the man who was detained tonight. Listen to a little bit from what she told us just a short while ago.
Oh, no, they came out telling us that they had somebody gave a tip that the lady was in my house. I don't know her name. ¿Cómo se llama? Nancy Guthrie? That we don't know. We don't know her. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house. And I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. There's nobody in my house. And I don't know what's going on. I mean,
Do you have any family members that might know?
no, they're investigating my son-in-law. He's not have nothing to do with that.
And that woman says that it was her son who was, her son-in-law who was detained, that he works as a delivery driver, occasionally driving up to Tucson and the Phoenix area as well. But we do not know if exactly to the extent of this person's involvement in this. We have reached out to investigators, and they're obviously still conducting the questioning, so we do not have a clear picture yet on what role, if any, we should point out, this person played in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And the most important part of all of this, Alex, is that as all of this flurry of law enforcement activity has been going on throughout the night, we still do not have any clear indication as to where Nancy Guthrie might be. Elex?
Ed Lavandera for us in Arizona. We go live now to Steve Moore, retired FBI supervisory special agent who's joined us every night practically since this whole story started. Steve, thanks for being back with us. What do you make of what the woman that was just interviewed said, giving us insight on this idea? She said basically, we let them into our house. We've got nothing to hide. I don't even know anything about Nancy Guthrie.
Right, and if that's true, it could potentially be a bad tip. However, the FBI is not necessarily always going to tell you every little bit of information that they got on a case, or maybe there was a tip, but maybe they've got tons of other evidence that caused them to act when they did. Keep in mind that when you have a hostage here, basically, you can't do the normal long-term investigation for fear of the harm to that hostage. So sometimes you have to act fairly quickly. That is not to say that they may not have some other good information on this, because to get a search warrant, they had to get a federal judge to agree that there was probable cause to believe that this person was involved in the kidnapping.
We've talked night after night, and it seemed like they were sort of at a dead end. And then today, it seems like every hour there's been a new development. We saw that video that came out, the surveillance video. We heard that Bitcoin had been put into this account. Now we hear about this arrest, this search warrant. What, from your perspective, is going on behind the scenes at the FBI? As somebody who knows how they work, what's going on behind the scenes right now?
Well, things just kind of came together all at once. What fascinated me was that I understand that there was a $300 deposit put into the Bitcoin account of that was specified in the ransom note. And to me, that sounds a lot like putting a fish hook under the water. They probably were looking to see what the person who had that account would do when they got notified that money had come into their account. Certainly, they're going to look to see if it's the ransom. It also tells me that they likely didn't pay the ransom, or they wouldn't have to put $300 in to see how they reacted. So it seems like the FBI is working this from about a dozen different directions, and a lot of the investigative activities kind of came to a peak all at once.
So you think that $300 was from the FBI?
I do. Yeah, I do.
And what was your big takeaway from the video? Because there's a lot that we can learn from looking at that.
Yeah, the video was just astounding to me. I mean, you have this guy coming up. He's got the ski mask and everything, but he's got a gun, a tiny little a semi-automatic pistol. Still dangerous, but it's a very small gun. The holster he's using is for the old 5-6 inch barrel revolvers that, like Clint Eastwood carried. So there's this tiny little gun in this huge holster, and the holster is worn directly below the belt buckle, which is first time I've ever seen anybody wear a gun there. So it would be kind of like going to a ski lift and having your parka on backwards. And people are going to look at you and say, "What are you doing?" And then, the fact that he sees the Ring camera or the Nest camera, and he goes out and gets some bushes and plants he thinks is going to cover it up. What was he thinking?
Well, we say he, and we don't know necessarily it was a he. It could be a she, too, which is another interesting thing as we look at that video as well. Steve Moore from the FBI, thank you for being on all day long with CNN. You've been doing great insight all day long, and you've been with us night after night. Thanks for staying up late with us tonight again. We appreciate it. And
call me anytime.
Thank you. And a reminder, speaking of calling, we're asking anybody with any information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The number is on your screen, 520-351-4900. You can contact the FBI. We will keep showing that number until hopefully Nancy Guthrie is found alive. Our coverage of the Nancy Guthrie case continues in just a moment, including the latest on the search efforts underway right now in Rio Rico, Arizona. We are there with new information. Plus, we are getting details on a deadly mass shooting at a school in Canada, where attacks like this are extremely rare. We'll check in with CNN's Paula Newton in Canada next.
Weekdays on CNN.
Tonight on 360.
The stories that matter.
This whole area is just engulfed in flames.
From a trusted voice.
We witnessed something nobody alive has ever seen before. You said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level jobs. How soon might that happen?
A fearless eyewitness.
We just got a red alert to go down to a bomb shelter.
Every night makes sense of the world.
How do you make the case that USAID's previous mission was in the United States' national interest?
Anderson Cooper 360. Weekdays on CNN.
Here's a breakdown of what you can find out front. The real question comes down to, where is the supreme leader? Where are we when it comes to inflation? Direct, in-depth, and raw. Do you think that Pam Bondi is hiding something?
Hell yeah, I think she's hiding something.
Getting ahead of the biggest stories and giving you context you won't find anywhere else. We are in an unprecedented moment. Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
Aaron Burnett out front. Weekdays on CNN.
Why, particularly in Gaza, why has leadership failed here?
Selfish, short-term interest.
The allegations, this is chilling, stomach-churning stuff.
Yes, it is. What happens, Maria Corina Machado, what happens if you're arrested?
Well, we're taking one day at a time. Do you think that Colombia could be at risk here? What would it take, Mr. President, for Serbia to acknowledge Kosovo's independence? And it is here, on these grounds, St. Peter's Square, that his funeral will be held. This is what 18 months of war has done for the children of Gaza. Where do you find empathy with some of these autocrats?
The genocide in Rwanda made you almost quit photography. Tell us about that moment.
How does his story shape all of you who are the future?
In a divided America,
where do I fit?
You tell me, ask your party.
Abby Phillip brings all sides to the table.
Can you name one thing you do different?
The hypocrisy is so rank, folks at home. Classes in session.
To talk about the issues.
Congresswoman, it is false. The answer is zero.
The policies.
What is the Democratic Party about? Can you answer that question?
And the biggest debates to wrap up your day.
I hear what you're saying Trump believes in, but do you think it's a good idea?
News Night with Abby Phillip, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN.
This is One World.
The world's top headlines with some of the world's biggest players.
Stories that captivate from two unique perspectives.
What does that mean for wider escalation?
One World with Zain Asher and Biana Golodriga. Weekdays on CNN.
Did the re-election of Donald Trump play any role in your decision to resign? Why do you need to study it? It sounds like you have the facts on your fingertips.
Great question.
You continue to fight for your name to be cleared. Why? Do you have any concerns about Elon Musk
there really is much more that unites us as Americans than that which divides us.
A moment with huge consequences for the nation and the world.
Watch The Lead, weeknights on CNN.
This whole island is littered with landmines.
A year ago when we were here in Pyongyang, you couldn't turn a corner without seeing anti-American propaganda.
Do you have faith that the United States would defend Taiwan? I do have faith.
We are underneath a giant tent with thousands of people outside yelling.
I've never been anywhere like this before. An Israeli father of 4 drove directly into danger.
CNN World Sport.
Non-stop action year-round.
I have a lot of things to give to the football.
All the major events.
I love where the game is going right now.
What does it take for me to be even better?
And tournaments.
The emotions sometimes are impossible to control.
The latest highlights.
Women's sport is having a moment that it should have always had.
And exclusive interviews with your favorite coaches and players.
We're going to keep this thing rolling.
You rock. Don't miss CNN
World Sport, only on CNN.
Our breaking news coverage of the search for Nancy Guthrie continues in just a moment, but now let's get to more breaking news. This story in Canada, where at least 9 people have been killed in a mass shooting at a school and a home. There's a lot we still don't know, but the shooting happened in a remote town in the province of British Columbia. At least 7 of the victims were fatally shot at the Tumbler Ridge Secondary School. Dozens of others injured, and 2 people found dead at a residence thought to be connected to that incident. The suspected shooter, who may be female, also dead. CNN's Paula Newton picks up the story from there, from Canada.
Alex, the details of this are just so difficult to fathom, and there's profound shock and horror, not just in this small community in British Columbia, but really right throughout the country. What happened was that early afternoon, an alert went out by police. They told everyone to shelter in place, and they indicated there was an active shooter. They had reports of an active shooter at the local high school. I mean, it's just a few thousand people in the town, only a few hundred people in the high school, and police went there. They tried to determine exactly how many people were injured and had died. I want you to listen now to an update that we received from RCMP.
Multiple injuries and multiple deceased were inside the school as officers progressed through the scene, locating them and triaging those events. We also located 2 deceased at another scene.
So what we know is that 6 were found dead in the high school. As well, the suspect with a self-inflicted injury. Another person died on the way to hospital, and 2 people, as you just heard him say, died at another residence. Police refuse to say what the connection is between the suspect or anyone. They are not saying if these are students or teachers, but also horrifying the fact that at least a couple of dozen people were either treated locally for serious injuries in some cases, or also had to be airlifted. This is a community in complete shock. In terms of the suspect, they are only saying that the suspect does involve the person that they had described in the alert, and that was a woman wearing a dress with brown hair. They don't know anything else just in terms of the relationship that this active shooter, this suspect, had with anyone in the community, and also not saying much about any kind of a motive. At this point, just terrible sadness and really trauma right throughout the community. It is a close-knit community, very small, and you can imagine the parents, the relatives that were in lockdown and were told they couldn't even go to the school to determine whether or not their loved ones were safe. And so many in the community right now just figuring out where their loved ones are and still hoping to find those who've now been airlifted to hospital. Alex?
Paula Newton, so sad. The Canadian Prime Minister has issued a statement. Mark Carney wrote that he is devastated by the horrific shootings, that he joins Canadians in grieving with those whose lives have been changed irreversibly. The Prime Minister also thanked the first responders. From that, back now to our other top story. Authorities searching a home in southern Arizona right now as part of the investigation into the apparent kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. That home, located in Rio Rico, which is not far from the Mexican border. It's about 60 miles south of Tucson, where Guthrie was last seen. A person was detained during a traffic stop in Rio Rico and is now being questioned by law enforcement. A source tells us they have stressed that this person has not been charged with a crime. And the questioning, authorities still have not gleaned the location of Nancy Guthrie. They still don't know where she is. Join me now for more on this is private investigator Logan Clark, plus retired lieutenant with the LA County Sheriff's Department, Gil Carrillo, well known for his work on the Night Stalker case. Gentlemen, thanks for staying up with us to talk about this. Both of you have so much experience with this sort of thing. Logan, let's start with you. I know you say that it appears that these criminals were both smart and stupid.
Yeah.
Tell us why.
Well, it's not like any I worked hundreds of kidnappings all over the world. This is not like anything normal. They pulled off the kidnapping and got her out. They obviously had some inside information. Somebody's given them information on her, who was at the house.
What do you mean by inside information?
I guarantee you there's someone connected to the family, close to the family. I don't know if they're a relative or whatever, but there's someone who gave the information to these people, these guys. The reason I say guys is because this one guy that went up to the door, but he didn't do it by himself. There had to be two, maybe a guy driving the car. If they had any brains at all, the two guys to get Nancy out of the house, get her into the car, and somebody to drive the car. But they didn't figure out the second half. Either something happened to Nancy.
By the second half, you mean?
The exchange, the proof of life. Nobody does a kidnapping, sends a ransom note for money, and then doesn't. You got to show proof of life. In the old days, they would have a newspaper, today's newspaper, take a picture in front of them. You can't do that today with AI.
Right.
So they would have to talk to her and, say, where did you meet your husband? What did they give you for Christmas? So things like that only she would know, that they wouldn't know. So they know they're talking to her today. She's alive today. And something must have happened because they didn't, 10 days? And they haven't shown any proof of life? You're not going to get a dime. Hopefully they didn't pay any money. I know they sent $300. That's nothing.
Yeah, compared to the $6 million.
Yeah, exactly. Right. I've had $3 million ransoms and gotten them down to $50,000.
Wow.
They always ask for a ridiculous amount of money.
What's your big takeaway of the day so far?
I'm listening to all the pundits, the people talking about the case, and awful lot of speculation going on. I'm still in the same position I was when I spoke to you last week, and that is they know what they're doing. I don't believe this is an isolated stop, just a random traffic stop.
They know what they're doing.
They know what they're doing.
The FBI, meaning the folks that are investigating this right now.
They've been onto this vehicle or that individual before that traffic stop. And so all they're doing is following up. The video that they showed today, this afternoon that they released, could be stimulating. Maybe they wanted the suspect to see this, that now they know they've got a little more than they put out before, see if there's any activity on his part. And it went out and there was activity and he got stopped.
So that could have been a strategic thing to both the Bitcoin thing, sending the $300 could have been a strategic thing to try to see how they do. But you say actually releasing the video was also a strategic thing.
It certainly could be. Very easily could be construed as stimulating. You're putting out what you want them to know.
And what's the purpose of doing that?
To get some activity, get some reaction from somebody that they're onto, that they're following it as a person of interest. Whether they call them a person of interest, I laughed earlier because they made it a point not to call them a person of interest or a suspect. They were calling him a subject. And I was asked about that on another newscast. I said, you can call him an ice cream salesman. You can call him anything you want to. A man shows up at your house at 1:30 in the morning wearing a mask, armed, gloves, out in the middle of nowhere.
We don't know, though, that this person, this FedEx driver, is that person, right? I mean, the mother-in-law certainly sounded convincing, did she not?
They all sound convincing. I'm sure when they talk to him, he's whoever he is or she is, that they don't, I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me. Most of them start out with that.
Yeah. What'd you make of her? That this woman that we've seen interviewed, who
she obviously didn't know anything. Yeah. I don't think any of that was fake. I don't think she knew anything, and they wouldn't tell her. They probably didn't tell anybody, what they're doing. But there's a group that's behind it. Mm-hmm. That is the guy that was at the door. The gun he had stuck in the front, you put it on the dominant side, either right-handed. This guy's left-handed, would have been on the left-hand side. He should have had a can of black spray paint instead of taking the flowers, and putting them up to the window. Just walk up with a black spray paint, just boom, boom, spray paint it. It's like that. He wasted so much time there and then walks back, gets the flowers, goes back. These are not rocket scientists. These guys are,
But as you said, they pulled off the first part.
Yeah, yeah, and it because of the area, the house it's a large area. It's not like there's a neighbor right across the street. So at 1:30 in the morning, but they didn't make noise. It's not like they drug her out of the house. That's why it wouldn't just be one person.
Do we know that they didn't drag her out of the house?
Yeah, you would have seen stuff. You would have seen scuffle. You would have seen, the rocks weren't. The blood was
some
there.
Blood, right?
Yeah, there was some blood there. A little bit of blood. That was probably a nosebleed from grabbing her. But the age, the condition, her medical condition, something very possibly could have happened that they didn't expect, and now they can't show proof of life. What I was afraid of. And still a little bit if something happened to her, the only shot they would have at getting money is saying, if you want to know where the body is,
right,
pay, X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's still a lot we don't know, and there's still a lot that's happening right now. So we are going to sneak in a quick commercial break, but we are staying on top of what's happening at multiple locations in Arizona as we try to get more information from there. Again, authorities questioning a person in connection with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Will that person be arrested? Will they find Nancy Guthrie tonight? We're up all night with you as this story continues to develop. Stay with us.
Tokyo at night is something else.
Wow, that's crazy.
The city feels alive.
Wow, that's cool.
Like you can taste the energy.
Ooh.
It's where traditional meets modern. And every step lights up a new discovery. Tokyo is truly unforgettable.
These little creatures love to relax, but they are also very hard workers. This year, a family of beavers helped restore a wetland ecosystem in the Czech Republic, doing what humans had planned and saving over $1 million. No concrete, no cost, just nature doing its thing. Be part of the movement. Find out more on cnn.com/call-to-earth in partnership with Rolex and its Perpetual Planet Initiative.
We've shared the stories of Africa's brightest stars, and now we're opening up the conversation. Raw, real, and revealing. This is African Voices.
This week, Chef Marcus Samuelsson.
You have become one of the most visible ambassadors for Black and African cooking.
I can't just sit on the sideline and hope somebody else is going to do that.
African Voices on CNN. In association with Glow.
How do we connect you with stories from around the globe? We examine big ideas and all the details. Join me for Connect the World with Becky Anderson.
Weekdays on CNN.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Happiness could lead to living longer. You want to know how? On my podcast, Chasing Life, I'm uncovering the secrets of people around the world who are living happy, healthy, extraordinary lives. Hear how they do it and the science behind why it works. Join me as I reveal their secrets and discover how we can chase life together. Listen to Chasing Life with me, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, wherever you get your podcasts.
Whoever controls Snake Island controls the Black Sea.
This whole island is littered with landmines.
A year ago when we were here in Pyongyang, you couldn't turn a corner without seeing anti-American propaganda. Now you're seeing much more of this. This is about building a socialist economy. Do you worry that this could be the place where there could be the beginning of a bigger conflict between Taiwan and mainland China?
Do you have faith that the United States would defend Taiwan?
I do have faith.
Is there justice for Muslims like you in India today?
No. Our only crime is that we are Muslims.
We are underneath a giant tent with thousands of people outside Delhi.
I've never been anywhere like this before. An Israeli father of four who left home and drove directly into danger.
I am Iván Pérez Armento in Buenos Aires, and this is CNN.
We continue to follow breaking news, fast-moving developments, and the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. At this hour, authorities in Arizona have executed a search warrant at a home in Rio Rico, which is about 50 miles south of Tucson. The Pima County Sheriff's Office, which is being assisted by the FBI, says the court-authorized search could last several hours. Earlier, the Sheriff's Office said a subject was being questioned after a traffic stop. A law enforcement official says that person was detained. The source says authorities have still not gleaned the location of Nancy Guthrie. Back with me, private investigator Logan Clark and retired lieutenant with the LA County Sheriff's Department, Gil Carrillo. Gil, let's start with you. When we were looking at the video that was just released today from the night of Nancy Guthrie's abduction, we could see a cell phone in one of them. That's an important clue, right?
Well, it's electronic. That's why with everything they can do technically today, they can ping that phone. They can find out where it's been. They can track it down just like they would any vehicle. What area it's been in, whether it was in that area or not, where it went to from there, where else it's been used. So they have that ability today. And
they can figure that out even though it's kind of grainy video and you can't really tell. I mean, they can figure out which cell phone it is.
Well, they'll do a pull from the nearest tower, and they'll get every single cell phone that pinged off of that tower. Mm-hmm. And as long as it's on, mm-hmm. They don't have to call anybody. So they pull all the cell phones mm-hmm. from that. They've confiscated all the cell phones at this house.
Yeah, let's get into that. Let's remind people of that. So that was the night of the abduction.
Right.
Tonight, what's happening now? They've narrowed in on this particular house, mm-hmm. and we just heard from the mother-in-law of the person who has been detained, who said that they took his phone, her phone, and everybody's phone that lived there. What does that tell you?
They're taking those phones and they're seeing if any of those phones called that cell phone that was in that guy's waist. Mm. Now you really have something.
Yeah.
So they can just pull all of that down from the tower. And if any one of those phones called that phone, bingo.
That's your person.
Yeah. They've got, and that's their...
Or that puts them,
they know,
them right
exactly.
there.
It puts them involved with the guy that was at the front door.
Yeah.
And that guy wasn't at the front door just to mess around. You know, he obviously was part of this. He was the pre-part of it or part of the whole thing.
And would presumably have some information about Nancy Guthrie's whereabouts.
Absolutely. And if something happened to her, they're going to clam up like crazy. They're just going to, I don't know nothing. I didn't see nothing. Right. I didn't do nothing.
Yeah, I mean, because you've been a part of sort of interacting with folks in these situations. How do you go about an interview in something like this?
Every one of them is different, but it's always been my contention. Treat people like you'd like to be treated if you were in their shoes. You have to have understanding that they do things for a reason. Mm-hmm. You don't condone their actions, you just have to understand them. And if you do, it makes it much easier to talk. talk to them on a nice level, even killed. Don't belittle them. Don't be angry with them. Just talk.
So that's kind of the opposite of what you see in the movies sometimes, where they have the
exactly.
cop throwing stuff around and hitting them and all of that. You say take the opposite approach.
The opposite approach has been worked for me. In fact, during the night soccer case, Ramirez called me Gil and I called him Rich. Never once did I raise my voice, and there was never any disrespect from him upon me. And he's probably, without a doubt, the most vile person that I've ever interviewed. So this person, you have to watch what you say, refrain from using heavy words like murder and robbery and kill. You know, she passed. That's not what you intended to do, but it happened. Now we have to face the facts and deal with what we have to deal with. So you just try to make it as low-key as possible to get them to open up.
Yeah, and then that conversation, and then sometimes they say nothing, though, right?
Sure. Sometimes they say nothing, but you've lost nothing if they say nothing. They're not giving you had nothing. If you go in there like you see on TV and you start yelling and slamming and doing stuff like that, they're darn sure not going to say anything to you. Because just imagine if you were a child when your parents started yelling at you, you know, you didn't respond. But if they came at you nice, oh, son, I understand why you did this, you know, then you get a little more action.
What gets you to that level of being a quote-unquote suspect, which so far they have not said that this person is a suspect?
Well, sometimes you could do good guy, bad guy, cops. You know, so sometimes you do. You know, one guy will be really nice, and if that's not getting anywhere, you have somebody come in and get, you know, a little more scary. I'm usually the bad guy when I come in. I'm the guy that doesn't go. You know.
So you guys have different approaches.
Yeah, everybody does.
Yeah.
And in response to your last question, I don't understand the difference between suspect and person of interest, subject. You know, you're talking to somebody and it's serious and you focus in on a case. That you're not interviewing them because they're a friend or they're a principal. There's something that's going on with this case. That makes them suspicious. And so suspect is just a shorter term for suspicion.
Although we have seen in some of these high-profile cases as of late, sometimes people that are detained who end up having nothing to do with the case.
Sure.
We saw that with Brown University. We saw that after Charlie Kirk. There's so much pressure to try to get somebody that they get somebody, but then that person has nothing to do with it. And that is possible. That's what's going on here right now. We just don't know.
And if you call them a suspect on television, now you might face a lawsuit.
Right. So that's why that word is so important.
Subject. You know, when it's a suspect, they got to really have something, because if they just start talking about, well, we got a suspect,
right?
You know, you're going to have a lawsuit.
Yeah. All right. Well, you guys stay right here. We are continuing to keep track of what is happening in Arizona, and our live coverage will continue right after this.
Weekdays on CNN.
Tonight on 360.
The stories that matter.
This whole area is just engulfed in flames.
From a trusted voice.
We witnessed something nobody alive has ever seen before. You've said that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level jobs. How soon might that happen?
A fearless eyewitness.
We just got a red alert to go down to a bomb shelter.
Every night makes sense of the world.
How do you make the case that USAID's previous mission was in the United States' national interest?
Anderson Cooper 360. Weekdays on CNN.
Here's a breakdown of what you can find out front. The real question comes down to, where is the supreme leader? Where are we when it comes to inflation? Direct, in-depth, and raw.
Do you think that Pam Bondi is hiding something?
Hell yeah, I think she's hiding something.
Getting ahead of the biggest stories and giving you context you won't find anywhere else. We are in an unprecedented moment. Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
Aaron Burnett out front. Weekdays on CNN.
In a divided America,
where do I fit? You tell me, ask your partner.
Abby Phillip brings all sides to the table.
Can you name one thing you do different? The hypocrisy is so rank, folks at home. Classes in session.
To talk about the issues.
Congresswoman, it is false. The answer is zero.
The policies.
What is the Democratic Party about? Can you answer that question?
And the biggest debates to wrap up your day.
I hear what you're saying Trump believes in, but do you think it's a good idea?
News Night with Abby Phillip, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN.
Every day we take a step back to look at the big picture.
From decisions made in Washington to the ripple effects across Asia, Europe, and beyond. We follow the story as it unfolds and hear every voice to make sure the information is clear, fair, and relevant to you. In a world packed with noise, facts matter. That's what we do here. This is The Brief.
Did the re-election of Donald Trump play any role in your decision to resign? Why do you need to study it? It sounds like you have the facts on your fingertips.
Great question.
You continue to fight for your name to be cleared. Why? Do you have any concerns about Elon Musk?
There really is much more that unites us as Americans than that which divides us.
A moment with huge consequences for the nation and the world.
Watch The Lead, weeknights on CNN.
CNN World Sport.
Non-stop action year-round.
I have a lot of things to give to the football. All the major events.
I love where the game is going right now.
What does it take for me to be even better?
And tournaments.
Emotions sometimes are impossible to control.
The latest highlights.
Women's sport is having a moment that it should have always had.
And exclusive interviews with your favorite coaches and players.
We're going to keep this thing rolling.
You rock. Don't miss
CNN
World Sport, only on CNN.
Innovations for the future. Business trends of the present. Distinctive traditions of the past. Meet the power players in Asia's emerging and established markets. Who will stand out from the competition? What will attract new industry consumers? Where will productivity hit a new level? And how will it impact the global economy? Join me, Christy Lustel, and me, Hanukkah Montgomery, on Marketplace Asia.
This weekend on CNN.
We try to be global and we try to be smart. What I want to hear are authentic voices of people who are passionate or intelligent, and that's the consistency that we try to get at.
Fareed Zakaria GPS, Sundays on CNN.
More now on our breaking news coverage of the Nancy Guthrie case. Right now, authorities are conducting a court-authorized search of a home in Rio Rico, Arizona. The Pima County Sheriff's Office says the operation expected to last several hours. Law enforcement officials have detained a person for questioning. The officials stress that that person has not been charged. A source says authorities still do not know where Nancy Guthrie is. There was a traffic stop of that particular vehicle that was part of this story tonight. For more, we are joined live now by former FBI profiler Jim Clemente. Thank you so much for joining us and staying up late with us. We appreciate it. Talk to us about what you're seeing tonight, and from an FBI perspective, how you assess what they're doing right now.
Well, what they're doing is a normal part of the investigation. It's being done in a very high-profile way at this point, particularly because of all the interest after the production of that video or those videos and the pictures. But it may or may not be somebody that is closely tied to this case. It may be just somebody who they had a tip about, and that person may have been moving. They may have had him under surveillance, and they were afraid that he was going to leave the area, so they stopped him and are questioning him. The search, if it's of his home or of a different location, may be a location that he's tied to. But I think there's a lot of things about this, the video that was shown today and his behavior that tells us a tremendous amount about him, to include the fact that he may be somewhat forensically sophisticated because he tried to cover up everything that he could, but he did not wear a face mask. He did not wear something over his mouth. So if he spent 40 minutes or so in the house, he left a lot of DNA in there. And it may be difficult to find because it's coming out a couple of cells at a time. But if they find it, they'll be able to tie it to him. And he also did not come prepared. He didn't know how to deal with the door camera, tried to cover it with brush. And in the process, I think if you really examine that video and freeze frame it, it looks like he may have a tattoo on his right wrist.
It seems to be two intersecting lines. I have no idea what it is, but it could be a plus sign, it could be a cross, it could be just part of another tattoo. But
and that's it right there in the picture that we have up on the screen right now. And how key is that? I mean, that's got to be like a gold mine if you're a profiler, right?
Well, yeah. Well, if that is actually a tattoo and not some other kind of artifact, I don't know what it could be other than that. But if it is a tattoo, then it's going to be very critically important in terms of doing a search of anybody who they have any information about. It's also critically important that people in the public, if they know someone with such a tattoo, we can only see a small part of it there, but if they know of somebody who has a tattoo, who's been acting very differently lately, who's been under a lot of stress, who may have called in at work or left the area for an emergency or been just acting very strange before this kidnapping happened or during it, especially today when those images were released. I think the stress level on that person probably multiplied tenfold today.
You've not only been involved at the FBI, you were co-host, creator of the show Real Crime Profile, writer, producer on CBS's Criminal Minds. Today, in a lot of ways, has felt like a TV show between the video coming out and the news about the Bitcoin and then this arrest. I mean, has this almost felt like a production? And why do you think that this particular story has so captured the hearts and minds of so many people, not only around the country, but around the world?
Well, I think you're right. It has felt sort of theatrical today. But of course, we have a very, very grim set of circumstances here. We have a woman who's been kidnapped, who needs medical attention, who probably hasn't been getting that medical attention, and her life has to be at grave risk. So it's very serious, but I think it's captured the hearts and minds of so many people because it is such a family event. We have a very well-known media person who everybody loves. She's got a great personality and everybody loves her. And to have her mom, who's been on the show with her, and their relationship obviously is so great, to have that torn apart, it's been heart-wrenching for this country, and everybody wants to see it resolved in a positive way. Unfortunately, it's been a while, and the circumstances are such that, yeah, she's at great risk if she's even still alive.
Well, let's hope she is, and wouldn't it be amazing if all of these tips now lead to that happy ending that we all are rooting for, and would be amazing to see in the next few hours. It certainly seems like a lot is going on right now, which is why we are staying on the air late tonight to follow all this. Jim Clemente, thank you for staying up late with us. Really appreciate your insights.
All right.
We're sneaking another commercial break, more coverage right after this.
We've shared the stories of Africa's brightest stars, and now we're opening up the conversation. Raw, real, and revealing. This is African Voices.
This week, Chef Marcus Samuelsson.
You have become one of the most visible ambassadors for Black and African cooking.
I can't just sit on the sideline and hope somebody else is going to do that.
African Voices on CNN. In association with Glow.
Well, for the rescue team here, this really is a race against time. The village of Imi and Dalla was among the hardest hit by the earthquake.
This is the face of Israeli settler violence in the occupied West Bank.
Over the last 12 weeks, we have seen people taking to the streets in Paris in protest against these reforms.
Huge crowds have gathered here in Victoria to celebrate the release of Palestinian prisoners and detainees.
You touched me. What did you see?
I saw a landscape.
Saw a landscape?
Spaces, caves, tunnels and oceans, undiscovered countries.
The evolution they both went on doing this film, and the big anchor was less about what's in the head, less about what theirs or my visions of what the characters are going to do scene by scene, but how much each of them can get into their bodies so they could just be there and see what happens. And that sounds simple and it sounds like acting 101, but it's extremely hard. Yeah, as hard as, if you could truly meditate without a thought for 8 hours a day.
This should be a moment in television history.
The way Spotify works is you can search for any song, and within 2 seconds you can listen to it.
We're now on the search for Nancy Guthrie. Arizona police have shut down access to a road in Rio Rico as they carry out a search warrant. The area is near the U.S. border with Mexico. A spokesperson with the Pima County Sheriff's Office had earlier told CNN that a search warrant is being executed at a home in the area. A woman tells CNN authorities searched her home after someone sent a tip that Guthrie was there. Here is that exchange from a short time ago. It's very interesting.
They came out telling us that they had somebody gave a tip that the lady was in my house. I don't know her name. ¿Cómo se llama? Nancy Guthrie. That we don't know. We don't know her. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house, and I told them you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. There's nobody in my house, and I don't know what's going on. I mean.
Do you have any family members that might know?
No, they're investigating my son-in-law. He's not have nothing to do with that either. I don't know else.
What's his name?
Nothing to do with it either. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
They're just invading my property. I told them they're going in and out of my house, taking a lot of pictures and everything. I mean, like I told them, we're not hiding anything. I give them permission. You can go and search. There's nothing in my house. You won't find anything because we don't have nothing to hide.
Is this your son-in-law's vehicle?
The one that was on the side of the, that's my daughter's vehicle.
So what is your son's name?
My daughter.
Your daughter?
Yeah, that's
so do you live in, it's her husband, so it's your son-in-law who they took away.
Yeah. He has nothing to do with that either.
Did he ever say anything about Nancy Guthrie?
Nothing. We never, like I told the FBI, the investigator, if I knew anything about her, I said I saw her on Facebook, but I didn't read what was going on with her because I don't know her and I don't have the right to. I mean, if I don't know anybody, I won't read the story. I just go over, keep on going on the phone because I don't know her.
So how did this all happen?
I don't know.
Were you home when this thing
No,
showed up?
I was coming from Tucson when they had my son outside the house. They broke in my house without a warrant or nothing. They broke my door. They went inside my house. My son was playing on Nintendo. He had his headphones on. They got him and put him in a cuff and took him outside. And then they asked him what's going on. There isn't anything. Do you have a search warrant? They said they didn't have any search warrant by then. And they still ask him, do you still have a search warrant? And they don't give me an answer.
Does your son-in-law ever go to Tucson?
He works in Tucson.
What does he do?
He's a delivery guy. He does FedEx or something like that.
Okay.
That's what he works on.
And so you're not allowed to go home right now?
No, they wanted us in. They keep on going in and out of my house, taking pictures. And I don't know why. I mean,
your son was the one that was detained?
Yeah, he was detained for... They showed me a video to see if it was him. To see if he... Yeah, he's my son-in-law. If I recognize the thing he was wearing, he doesn't have any of that. He doesn't have anything that comes on the video.
Was it surveillance footage?
From the house, I think. Yeah, they showed me the picture.
Authorities are asking anyone with information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at the number on your screen, 520-351-4900, or contact the FBI. By the way, the reason we were bleeping that name is her son-in-law has not been charged with a crime, has not even been identified as a person of interest. So that is why we did not name him. If he is in either of those situations, we will put out his identity. Thanks for watching this hour of The Story Is. We are staying on late tonight. We have another hour of The Story Is when we come back.
When the sun rises over the sea and the waves dance in the morning light, let the sun warmth guide your way. Through the trees, across the field. Every step, each passing day. This nature is a true piece of art.
Africa is moving fast into the future, and on the link, Zain Asher is keeping you up to date.
Join me as we take a look at how plugging in and going digital has changed the game.
Witness Africa transform with the latest technology.
Our entire mission is to solve humanity's greatest challenges leveraging data and AI. We're solving really massive problems at national scale.
And the key players behind them all.
There is an amazing alignment of vision. This will bring developments, jobs, innovation.
The Link on CNN, in association with MTN. This is One World.
The world's top headlines with some of the world's biggest players.
Stories that captivate from two unique perspectives.
What does that mean for wider escalation?
One World with Zain Asher and Diana Golodriga. Weekdays on CNN.
It's the ocean that shapes everything. Climate, weather, planetary temperature, planetary chemistry. It's where most of life on Earth actually is. People don't know why they should care. And that's what Mission Blue is trying to do. Protect what we can, inspire people to embrace the wild, restore places that have degraded to get to a better place. This network of hope through the hope spots that now are in 113 countries around the world, including the high seas, which is like half the world, just the blue part. So part of Mission Blue's mission is to inspire people to know, to care, and to take care of what keeps us alive.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Happiness could lead to living longer. You want to know how? On my podcast, Chasing Life, I'm uncovering the secrets of people around the world who are living happy, healthy, extraordinary lives. Hear how they do it and the science behind why it works. Join me as I reveal their secrets and discover how we can chase life together. Listen to Chasing Life with me, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, wherever you get your podcasts.
When you travel the world, make sure the world travels with you. Check in, log on, and get connected with all of the latest developments at your fingertips. CNN Partner Hotels, connected to your world.
I'm Rahal Solomon in New York, and this is CNN.
This is CNN Breaking News.
I'm Elex Michaelson, live in Los Angeles. We are following two major breaking news stories, late-breaking developments in the search for Nancy Guthrie, and at least 9 people killed in Canada's worst mass shooting in decades. That's why the story is on for an extra hour right now. Let's begin in Arizona, and the biggest break so far in the desperate search for 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie, mother of Today Show host Savannah Guthrie. This is a live picture right now from Rio Rico, Arizona, where it is after midnight Arizona time. We see law enforcement presence in place. We see the yellow police line. We know that an investigation is actively happening inside that home. That investigation could take several hours. A source tells CNN that the FBI and the Pima County Sheriff's Department have detained a person for questioning. That individual was picked up during a traffic stop in Rio Rico, which is south of Tucson near the U.S.-Mexico border, about 60 miles from Tucson. Authorities are stressing that that person has not yet been charged with any crime, hasn't even officially been called a suspect. But a search warrant is being executed at that home that we are looking at right now. As of now, a law enforcement source tells CNN's Josh Campbell that authorities do not know where Nancy Guthrie might be. So even though they have been talking with this person, that has not given them information so far about the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie. That is an important point. A CNN team on the ground there spoke with a woman who claimed it was her home that we were just looking at live pictures of being searched. Here's some of what she had to say.
They came out telling us that they had somebody gave a tip that the lady was in my house. I don't know her name. ¿Cómo se llama? Nancy Guthrie? That we don't know. We don't know her. I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house. And I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. There's nobody in my house. And I don't know what's going on. I mean, do you have any family members?
So all this comes after the FBI released new video and images captured by Nancy Guthrie's Nest doorbell camera of a masked armed individual outside her home the morning she was apparently abducted. CNN's Ed Lavandera is in Pima County with more on all of this. Ed.
Elex, it has been a surreal day of developments in the investigation into the abduction of 84-year-old Nancy Guthrie. So I'll try to catch you up as best we can, but it started off with this day with the FBI releasing video and still images of the person they believe to be the subject who abducted Guthrie from her home around 1:45 in the morning. You could see the man wearing a mask and a backpack, holding a gun in a holster around his waist. And those images, we know in the hours since they were released, caused a flood of tips to come in to investigators throughout the day. And then late tonight, we learned that there was a person who had been detained by Pima County sheriffs and FBI investigators, wanted in questioning in regard to the Guthrie disappearance. We should be crystal clear. At this point, this person is not described as a suspect or a person of interest, simply someone who was detained and wanted for questioning. We are at the scene there this all happened in a town called Rio Rico, which is about 50 miles south of Tucson, very close to the U.S.-Mexico border. This all started with a traffic stop of a silver Nissan Rogue, which we captured video of this evening. And we also have spoken with a woman who lives in a neighborhood where a court-authorized search is going on well into this evening, and that woman says that it was her son who was, her son-in-law who was detained, that he works as a delivery driver, occasionally driving up to Tucson and the Phoenix area as well. But we do not know if exactly to the extent of this person's involvement in this. We have reached out to investigators, and they're obviously still conducting the questioning, so we do not have a clear picture yet on what role, if any, we should point out, this person played in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie. And the most important part of all of this, Alex, is that as all of this flurry of law enforcement activity has been going on throughout the night, we still do not have any clear indication as to where Nancy Guthrie might be. Elex?
The most important thing of all, Ed Lavandera, thank you. Joining me now for insight and analysis is retired lieutenant with the LA County Sheriff's Department, Gil Carrillo, and private investigator Logan Clark. Gentlemen, thank you for staying up late with us tonight to provide insight. Gil, let's start with you. And this decision today, the big headline of the morning at least, was to release this video, which we're still trying to garner clues from. You say that it may not have been as innocent as it was said, which was the law enforcement said, we just got this video, we want it out there, we don't have many clues, so we're sending this out to the public. You think it might be more than that?
Well, I said there's a good possibility. In the business, we use the media to our advantage, and the media needs us to give them their story. But what you do with the media, sometimes you release it in an effort to create stimulus. You're stimulating the suspect. You're stirring the pot because, as I said before, the public is watching your newscast, but so is the suspect or suspects. So by releasing this, it creates action on his part. I don't believe at this point in time that this car 51 miles away from Tucson just happened to drop by and he innocently committed a traffic violation, so now all of a sudden they're questioning him and detaining him for questioning. Mm-hmm. I have to believe that they've known something about this individual, that car, something brought them to the house. They had to have enough information where they could get probable cause to write a search warrant to go ahead and search the house. And at the same time, somebody deposited some Bitcoins. And
right, that was the other headline of the day, that in this Bitcoin address that was listed in the ransom note that was sent to TMZ and to a couple local stations, today for the first time somebody deposited $300 there, which you suspect may be the FBI.
Sure, I just believe that once again, that's more stimuli.
Yeah.
So they're watching, obviously they're watching, keeping an eye on the Bitcoin, but this, it's just leading to what they want. They put it out there. They're not following leads.
And these folks may be very focused on the media, considering their track record, if all this ends up being the same person. I mean, first off, attacking the home of the mother of a Today Show anchor, one of the highest, rated TV shows in news, sending the ransom notes to TMZ and to local media themselves, and they may be really focused on media attention, especially media attention in the Tucson media market.
Well, they would be watching television to find out how close the police are getting. They're hoping for clues too, to see, are they getting near us? Are they, and that, like Gil said, that gets action. That makes them do something. They might move something. They might get worried. Mm-hmm. So you want them to do things, to move. They took the wires off. There was a camera on the top, on the roof. Mm-hmm. That possibly that they put there on the roof.
Oh, you think that the suspects themselves put a camera on the roof? Because we saw days after this investigation, all of a sudden law enforcement's up on the roof, focused on something, which was kind of surprising to reporters there, because they had cleared the scene, they had allowed everybody back, and then they shut it back down, and then they were focused on the roof.
They should have never cleared that house that fast. The sheriff, I doubt there's been many kidnappings in Pima, right? But they opened up that house and not opened the house, but there were cops going around and people walking around. They contaminated the scene. But if that was a camera, I've done extractions of people in kidnappings, and I'll leave either a camera that with the technology today, leave a camera on that spot. I want to see how fast who's getting there. If they want to see if the cops go there, what time they go there, that gives them a timing of what's going on in that house. In my case, I wanted to get to the border and get across the border. And if I know when the cops go, when they get there, I can time things and figure that out. And somebody had to go up on that roof, if that's a camera.
Another development of today, Gil, was that the sheriff's deputies canvassed the neighborhood of Annie Guthrie, who is another one of Nancy Guthrie's kids, and all over the neighborhood there. What do you read into that?
I don't. I can't speak as the operation of their minds. They have information, or they didn't have, and they said, let's try it. It's another investigative lead. But they had to have one of the two. Either some kind of a tip, something that led them to that, or they just said that pond closest, when you throw a rock into a pond, the closest ripple, family members, friends, so their family, let's give them a look at.
Yeah. Which goes to your sort of belief that maybe this was an inside job or somebody knew something about the family.
And yeah, they go to the last person, that's the house where they had dinner that night, right? Well, that was the last people that saw them. I would have asked them, how often do you have dinner with her? Whose idea was it to have dinner? And they talked about the son-in-law earlier, a couple days ago. They were talking about the son-in-law. So
Nancy Guthrie's son-in-law, which unconfirmed reports. There were some media outlets that went with that. CNN has not been able to confirm any potential involvement in that, and we know sometimes when things started online, they are seen as fact. But so far, we don't know that.
But they were the last person to see her, be with her.
Right.
So that's where you're going to go.
That's where you're going to go.
Like if a wife dies, they're going to talk to the husband. Immediately.
So what's this search, Gil, like at this house? We see the live pictures from Rio Rico. We know that is still underway after midnight there. What's going on there behind that police line right now?
They have forensic specialists in there looking for everything, using lasers if necessary, anything to find any kind of trace evidence that might be around that you see on television every day, hairs, fibers, blood, any kind of evidence, any kind of evidence that may have been used in the crime. If they can find any kind of matching clothing, any kind of matching gloves, anything, shoe size, but they're going over it with a fine-tooth comb. You get one shot at it and you make it your best, and they have the FBI working hand in hand with Pima County. So they're doing this in collaboration with each other just to make sure that they get everything, if there is anything to be received.
Right. And we don't know that.
And we don't know that.
Again, there hasn't been any arrests or anything like that so far based off of what they've found. And again, the unfortunate reality is we don't know where Nancy Guthrie is, which is the most important thing.
And that is by far the most important thing. That's the goal, find her.
Thank you, gentlemen, for being here tonight. We will continue to lean on you as we continue our live coverage throughout the night. A reminder, authorities are asking anyone with information to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department. That number on your screen, 520-351-4900, or you can reach out to the FBI directly. When we come back, we will continue to follow this story, plus details of a mass shooting in Canada. Breaking news there, the country's deadliest school shooting in decades. We'll tell you what is happening there. Plus, authorities questioning a person in connection with the apparent kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. More on that. We follow these two big breaking stories live here on CNN.
Stablecoins are a financial instrument that sits on a blockchain and is backed by something like a fiat currency, like a dollar. We're sitting here in the UAE, and the center of gravity doesn't have to be London or Frankfurt or Paris. We have a very thriving crypto and blockchain ecosystem growing up in Dubai, in Abu Dhabi. So one of the things I like about it is the world is way bigger than just a few old cities in the US and Europe. And crypto reflects that. Crypto is truly international. It's kind of borderless. The blockchain and the internet, they don't, there is government control or surveillance, but they're truly borderless in many ways. And you can connect. You could be playing a video game online, and the person you're playing with doesn't have to be here in Dubai. They could be in South Korea. Distance disappears on the internet, and blockchain does the same for money.
This is CNN.
Today we live in an unpredictable environment, and news races around the world at breakneck speed.
It's a noble profession.
Why do you keep us out?
We want to keep you safe.
We're war correspondents.
My show brings you the latest news and top news makers.
Can you tell me exactly about what's happening right now?
If we don't learn from some of the things in our past, then we're due to repeat them.
We also dive below the headlines.
If we are not blinded by hate, we can teach others humanity.
What does it feel like to be slapped with a 50% tariff?
That's not a negotiation, Ambassador.
Any questions?
CNN, what were you thinking when I was trying to get the truth out of you and you were obfuscating?
Well, I thought that actually you saw the contradiction.
It's crucial we make sense of what's happening.
Why do you want your country's future to be decided by US military intervention?
And fully understand what's at stake.
If you can double down on that, amen.
Amanpour, weekdays on CNN.
Here's a breakdown of what you can find out front. The real question comes down to, where is the supreme leader? Where are we when it comes to inflation? Direct, in-depth, and raw. Do you think that Pam Bondi is hiding something?
Hell yeah, I think she's hiding something.
Getting ahead of the biggest stories and giving you context you won't find anywhere else. We are in an unprecedented moment. Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
Aaron Burnett out front, weekdays on CNN.
On Laura Coates Live, we cover it all.
Will you take this all the way to the Supreme Court?
I'm not refuting a syllable of what you said.
What do you say to people who are looking to find their voice?
All the news, all on Laura Coates Live, Tuesday through Saturday on CNN.
Did the re-election of Donald Trump play any role in your decision to resign? Why do you need to study it? It sounds like you have the facts on your fingertips.
Great question.
You continue to fight for your name to be cleared. Why? Do you have any concerns about Elon Musk?
There really is much more that unites us as Americans than that which divides us.
A moment with huge consequences for the nation and the world.
Watch The Lead, weeknights on CNN.
Floods swept entire neighborhoods like this into the sea.
It's hard for the city. There's many people without hope.
It's unclear what has been hit here. We have seen the warnings. God bless the souls of all those who died. I can't imagine what it's been like for you growing up without your mother.
We're not just here for our family, but for freedom and democracy.
CNN World Sport.
Non-stop action year-round.
I have a lot of things to give to the football.
All the major events.
I love where the game is going right now.
What does it take for me to be even better?
And tournaments.
The emotions sometimes are impossible to control.
The latest highlights.
Women's sport is having a moment that it should have always had.
And exclusive interviews with your favorite coaches and players.
We're going to keep this thing rolling.
D-Rock.
Don't miss CNN
World Sport, only on CNN.
We are staying right on top of the Nancy Guthrie case, but first an update on some other breaking news. This coming out of Canada. Authorities say at least 9 people there are dead after a shooting at a high school and a home in a remote area of British Columbia. Dozens of people are hurt, and the suspect, who may be female, is dead. Canada's Prime Minister wrote that he is, quote, devastated by the horrific shootings, that he joins Canadians in grieving with those whose lives have been changed irreversibly British Columbia's premier also weighing in.
The devastation these families face, it's just impossible to understand what they're going through without going through it yourself. But I can say for myself, and I'm sure for many British Columbians, many Canadians, it makes us think about our kids' safety when they're going to school. We take it for granted. You go to school, you come home safe. And events like this give us pause.
Investigators have not identified the shooting or the victims, nor have they revealed any sort of motive. CNN's Paula Newton explains what is known about this tragic incident. Paula. We may not have that story quite ready for you yet. Hopefully we will go back to it soon. We will now to our top story. Authorities are searching a home in southern Arizona as part of the investigation into the apparent kidnapping of Nancy Guthrie. That home, located in Rio Rico, not far from the Mexican border, about 60 miles south of Tucson, where Guthrie was last seen. The person was detained during a traffic stop in Rio Rico and is being questioned by law enforcement, source tells us. But they have stressed this person has not been charged with the crime. Amid that questioning, authorities still have not gleaned the location of Nancy Guthrie. Let's bring in retired U.S. Navy SEAL commander and hostage negotiator Dan O'Shea. Dan, thanks for staying up late with us. We appreciate it.
Good morning.
What do you find most interesting about what's happening right now?
Well, I think for the first 10 days, the law enforcement stance had been we have no person of interest. We have no vehicle of interest. And now, not 24 hours after the deadline, the second ransom deadline, we have this frantic activity of FBI, SWAT, hostage rescue team, and other SWAT-type organizations going out, rolling up, at least for now, the first person of interest. Again, as the law enforcement's not saying a whole lot yet. But that video that was released this afternoon that shows dramatic footage of at least one of the individuals involved in the abduction of Nancy Guthrie has been a game changer. And I think they must have known about this photo for a number of days. I think they've done all the evidence research on it that they could, and now they're releasing it to the public. And let's hope that the tips line are bringing off the hooks with more information, and will hopefully lead us to this suspect.
As somebody with a lot of experience as a hostage negotiator, now that you have this person who may be connected to this, speaking with law enforcement, what's that conversation like?
Well, I mean, it's an interrogation for sure. Again, the law enforcement is always going to be hesitant to reveal too much information, so I don't want to read into it too far and speculate that they've got someone directly connected. But this is significant in that for the first 10 days, no one had been brought in for questioning, and let's hope this goes somewhere. But if indeed this person is connected, he's probably one of many. So hopefully, the evidence they'll have on him, his cell phone, will probably prove that itself might if indeed he's involved, that will probably lead him, to show that his involvement in this, if he was one of those tied to this case, and it'll open up the door. So a lot of times, if someone realizes that the gig's up, the cops have enough information on him, then he can turn over and hopefully roll on the other. So I don't want to get ahead that this person is guilty yet. But if he is, he's going to have evidence on him, clothing, his cell phone, and others, and that will lead to other questioning. And if he realizes that the gig's up for him, that'll lead him to turn on others and hopefully bring this entire investigation to a close sooner rather than later.
I mean, because what is the strategy to sort of convince somebody to maybe give up her location, to trust you enough to do that? Well,
there's been, I don't know if they bargained for this type of worldwide news media focus. I mean, I'm running on fumes with I think honestly, you're probably my 9th interview in the space of one day. I've averaged 7 to 8 interviews a day, and it hasn't just been across the U.S. networks. It's been Australia and Canada as well. There is global interest in this, and I think they may be the folks that initially did this. If they were looking for a quick ransom, they got a lot more than they bargained for, and I think they realized the stakes are as high as they are. You've got not only focus from local law enforcement, the entire focus from the FBI. The FBI director is on the ground in Arizona. So this is really a full court press. And I think we're now seeing results because of it.
Let's hope so. Dan O'Shea, thank you for being so tireless. It's really valuable to be able to talk with you. I don't know if it's good morning and you just woke up or you're still going, but either way, we appreciate your insights joining us live from Tampa. Thanks so much. Ahead,
yes, sir.
More on our breaking news from Arizona, where authorities are questioning that person in connection with the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Hopefully we get news of what exactly has been said. Stay with us. We're staying on top of this and staying up with you all through the night.
The CMG Spring Festival Gala. This is where it gets cool. This is where we feel the warmth. And this is where the celebrations heat up. Wherever you are, when the CMG Spring Festival Gala begins, you are coming home.
Africa is moving fast into the future, and on The Link, Zain Asher is keeping you up to date.
Join me as we take a look at how plugging in and going digital has changed the game.
For conservation. Be part of the movement. Find out more on CNN.com/call to earth in partnership with Rolex and its Perpetual Planet Initiative.
Discover the land of the rising sun. From the vibrant streets of Tokyo to the enchanting landscapes. Come explore Japan with CNN.
Yay, my first friendship bracelet.
And experience the best of this rich nation.
A desire to create timeless beauty everywhere. Appreciate the opportunity to sit down with you.
An epic adventure to Japan's remote corners.
Kanpai.
Kanpai.
Arriving in the ancient city of Perga, just outside Antalya, the skies are threatening, but I'm not worried, for this is a place where my imagination can soar. I've picked up some friends. The great part about Turkey, which I think is wonderful, is the way they look after the stray dogs. Even among ruins, plenty of life. No, we play nicely. Right. Oh. Don't get involved, Richard. Don't get involved. No good can come of it. It's staggering, the amount of archaeological finds carved out of the hills, dotting the countryside, taking me back in time.
We try to be global and we try to be smart. What I want to hear are authentic voices of people who are passionate or intelligent, and that's the consistency that we try to get at.
Fareed Zakaria GPS, Sundays on CNN.
Why, particularly in Gaza, why is leadership failed here?
Selfish, short-term interest.
The allegations, I mean, this is chilling, stomach-churning stuff.
Yes, it is.
What happens, Maria Corina Machado, what happens if you're arrested?
Well, we're taking one day at a time.
Do you think that Colombia could be at risk here? What would it take, Mr. President, for Serbia to acknowledge Kosovo's independence? And it is here, on these grounds, St. Peter's Square, that his funeral will be held. This is what 18 months of war has done to the children of Gaza. Where do you find empathy with some of these autocrats? The genocide in Rwanda made you almost quit photography. Tell us about that moment. How does his story shape all of you who are the future?
I'm Pau Mosquera in Madrid, Spain, and this is CNN.
Welcome back to The Story Is. I'm Elex Michaelson. Here's a look at today's top stories. Major developments this hour in the Nancy Guthrie case. Authorities in Arizona have executed a search warrant at a home in Rio Rico, about 50 miles south of Tucson. Pima County Sheriff's Office said a subject was being questioned after a traffic stop. Law enforcement official says the person was detained. U.S. President Donald Trump will meet with Israel's prime minister in the Oval Office in the coming hours. Sources tell CNN that Benjamin Netanyahu plans to discuss possible military options against Iran. This comes after U.S. diplomats held early talks with Iran on a new nuclear deal. Israel is doubtful that those negotiations will succeed. Authorities are investigating Canada's deadliest school shooting in decades. At least 9 people were fatally shot, dozens more injured in British Columbia. 2 of those killed were found in a home believed to be tied to the incident. Police say the suspect died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. No names have been released, no word yet on a possible motive. Investigators have not identified the shooter or the victims. CNN's Paula Newton explains what is known about the tragic incident. Paula.
Alex, the details of this are just so difficult to fathom, and there's profound shock and horror, not just in this small community in British Columbia, but really right throughout the country. What happened was that early afternoon, an alert went out by police. They told everyone to shelter in place, and they indicated there was an active shooter. They had reports of an active shooter at the local high school. I mean, it's just a few thousand people in the town, only a few hundred people in the high school, and police went there. They tried to determine exactly how many people were injured and had died. I want you to listen now to an update that we received from RCMP.
Multiple injuries and multiple deceased were inside the school as officers progressed through the scene, locating them and triaging those events. We also located 2 deceased at another scene.
So what we know is that 6 were found dead in the high school. As well, the suspect with a self-inflicted injury. Another person died on the way to hospital, and 2 people, as you just heard him say, died at another residence. Police refuse to say what the connection is between the suspect or anyone. They are not saying if these are students or teachers, but also horrifying the fact that at least a couple of dozen people were either treated locally for serious injuries in some cases, or also had to be airlifted. This is a community in complete shock. In terms of the suspect, they are only saying that the suspect does involve the person that they had described in the alert, and that was a woman wearing a dress with brown hair. They don't know anything else just in terms of the relationship that this active shooter, this suspect, had with anyone in the community, and also not saying much about any kind of a motive. At this point, just terrible sadness and really trauma right throughout the community. It is a close-knit community, very small, and you can imagine the parents, the relatives that were in lockdown and were told they couldn't even go to the school to determine whether or not their loved ones were safe. And so many in the community right now just figuring out where their loved ones are and still hoping to find those who've now been airlifted to hospital. Alex?
Paula Newton with a very sad story out of Canada. Back to Arizona now, where a law enforcement official says a person has been detained for questioning in the Nancy Guthrie case. Authorities are stressing this person has not been charged, but at this hour, investigators are executing a search warrant at a home in Rio Rico, about 50 miles south of Tucson. Pima County Sheriff's Office, which is being assisted by the FBI, says the court-authorized search could last for hours. A woman who says she's the mother-in-law of the detained person spoke just a short time ago to CNN.
We're in a
hide anything. I give him permission. You can go and search. There's nothing in my house. You won't find anything because we don't have nothing to hide.
Is this your son-in-law's vehicle?
The one that was on the side of there. That's my daughter's vehicle.
So what is your son's name?
My daughter.
Your daughter.
Yeah, that's
So do you live in? It's her husband. So it's your son-in-law.
Yeah,
who
my
they
son.
took away.
Yeah. He has nothing to do with that
Did he
either.
ever say anything about Nancy Guthrie?
Nothing. We never. Like I told the FBI, the investigator, if I knew anything about her, I said I saw her on Facebook, but I didn't read what was going on with her because I don't know her and I don't have the right to. I mean, if I don't know anybody, I won't read the story. I just go over, keep on going on the phone because I don't know her.
So we're bleeping his name right now because he has not been arrested, not even been identified as a person of interest, and not been charged with any crime. Let's talk more about all of this with our law enforcement panel tonight. Retired Lieutenant with the LA County Sheriff's Department, Gil Carrillo, and Private Investigator Logan Clark, both back with me. Gil, let's start with you. It is now after midnight in Arizona. What should we expect over the next 24 hours? What should we see when people wake up in the morning?
It's going to take time before they have a big press conference because they have to mull over everything that they found or located at the house that they did the search warrant on. They're going to have to do something with the gentleman that is being detained because by law, wheels of justice are turning. They have to, within 48 hours, decide what they're going to do with him, and
Either
they'll
charge
address
him with
that.
the crime or release him.
Exactly, either arrest him or release him.
Yeah.
And they'll discuss that. I don't expect, and when you give the poor guys in the trenches, you need to give them just a little rest to go on. So I expect sometime late tomorrow morning there'll be a press conference just to go over what they did, and if there's nothing to go over, because now it's lingering. Now you've it's like thrown the dog a bone. You know, you have somebody detained, and inquiring minds want to know, and they want to keep the interest of the public involved because the main objective is to find Nancy Guthrie.
And so far,
that objective has not been, at least we're not aware of it.
What should we look out for in the next 24 hours?
The breaking of those phones, all the phone list, to see if those phones...
Yeah, so a reminder for folks, so that the mother-in-law that we just heard from said that they seized the phones.
Everybody's phone.
Of her and everybody in the house, including this son-in-law.
Right.
And so that now
And
law
if they
enforcement has the phones.
Yeah, and the guy had a cell phone.
Yeah.
So they pulled that.
The guy, meaning
Yeah.
the suspect
Yeah,
that
the
was
suspect.
seen on the surveillance video also had a cell phone. So are those the same phone, or did they call each other?
Did they call each other? And then they know that there's some involvement, or they might charge them to hold them longer. A lot of times when they have, if they've got strong suspicion, they'll charge them with something small, just to hold them.
If they have something.
And if they have, yeah, if they have anything, whatever he was stopped for, they're not going to throw him in jail for, for a traffic ticket or something like that.
When you looked at that video of the suspects, and there may be multiple suspects on that video as far as we know, you were struck by what you thought were potentially feminine features, maybe a woman.
Well, his eyes, the eyes,
her.
yeah, when you saw the eyes, the eyebrows, it didn't look like male eyebrows. I mean, it almost looked like they had been plucked, and you can't tell the amount of clothes that the person was wearing. It's almost like they were wearing too many clothes. I don't know how cold it was in Pima, but he had an awful lot of clothes on. He had gloves on, had the mask on. You couldn't tell if that was a man or a woman.
Yeah.
If it was a woman, then she definitely had to have people. There had to be some guy that's going to bring her out. Like I said, there's got probably 2 or 3 people that were involved in getting her out of the house and somebody driving the car.
Yeah. And meanwhile, let's talk about Savannah Guthrie and her siblings. We feel so much for them. We've seen these videos, Gil, that have been coming out. I mean, her social media has really been driving the news cycle on this. And that video over the weekend, which was so hard to watch. I mean, law enforcement probably involved in all this, right?
I believe she's at the direction or at the advice of the law enforcement. They're advising her what to say and what not to say. They're going along with her releasing what she's doing because she ultimately wants to help find her mother as well. And so she's going to be doing everything. That's what the experts are for. She should be listening to what they're saying, and maybe that's why there's a change in tone of the way she's asking or what she's asking and how much has been released. But I'm sure everything's being run by her before it's gone out.
Yeah. And your thoughts on that?
Yeah, she's being told or advised what to say and what not to say. If they wanted to pay the money, the police wouldn't have anything to do with that. They could, if they wanted to pay the money, they could pay the money.
And over the weekend, she did say in the video, we will
pay the money.
But then there has not been any evidence in the Bitcoin account so far of them paying $6 million. There was evidence of a $300 transfer today, far cry from $6 million.
Right. And if she paid money, God, I would hope that she wouldn't pay a large amount of money without having proof of life. It just would be silly to do it.
And so far as we know, there has not been proof of life, and there has not been proof of life tonight. Even after this person was stopped, even after the search warrant, so far we still don't know where Nancy Guthrie is. Let's hope in the coming hours that changes.
And her medical situation was 10 days without her medication.
Yeah.
She's very upset. I mean, being kidnapped, she's 84 years old. Her blood pressure's got to be spiking.
Yeah.
There's many things that could have gone wrong, and they can't show proof of life.
Yeah.
I hope that's not.
Let's hope for a miracle.
Yeah.
All right. Gil, Logan, thank you both for staying up late with us, for staying with us for the last 2 hours. It's really been helpful to have you guide us through this coverage. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
And we will maybe see you guys tomorrow. We'll have more, though, of our breaking coverage of the Nancy Guthrie investigation. Up next, I'll be speaking with a law enforcement expert on what we can expect next as this case unfolds. Stay with us.
There is more data traffic every day in the world. We have small batteries called Enacella, which can be used to make IoT much easier because it can charge by wireless. Supplying innovative products is good for the data transformation. There is infinite possibility ceramics can do to contribute to the future energy.
This is the Redwood Forest in California, home to some of the tallest and oldest trees in the world. Since 1918, more than 225,000 acres of these forests have been protected through the work of conservation foundations and the local community. Believing in a better future, be part of the movement. Find out more on cnn.com/call to earth in partnership with Rolex and its Perpetual Planet initiative. Africa is moving fast into the future, and on the link, Zain Asher is keeping you up to date.
Join me as we take a look at how plugging in and going digital has changed the game.
Witness Africa transform with the latest technology.
Our entire mission is to solve humanity's greatest challenges leveraging data and AI. We're solving really massive problems at national scale.
And the key players behind them all.
There is an amazing alignment of vision. This will bring developments, jobs, innovation.
The Link on CNN, in association with MTN.
This is CNN.
Today we live in an unpredictable environment and news races around the world at breakneck speed.
It's a noble profession.
Why do you keep us out?
We want to keep you safe.
We're war correspondents.
My show brings you the latest news and top news makers.
Can you tell me exactly about what's happening right now?
If we don't learn from some of the things in our past, then we're due to repeat them.
We also dive below the headlines.
If we are not blinded by hate, we can teach others humanity.
What does it feel like to be slapped with a 50% tariff? That's not a negotiation, Ambassador.
Any questions?
CNN, what were you thinking when I was trying to get the truth out of you and you were obfuscating?
Well, I thought that actually you saw the contradiction.
It's crucial we make sense of what's happening.
Why do you want your country's future to be decided by U.S. military intervention?
And fully understand what's at stake.
If you can double down on that, amen.
Amanpour, weekdays on CNN.
Here's a breakdown of what you can find out front. The real question comes down to, where is the supreme leader? Where are we when it comes to inflation? Direct, in-depth, and raw.
Do you think that Pam Bondi is hiding something?
Hell yeah, I think she's hiding something.
Getting ahead of the biggest stories and giving you context you won't find anywhere else. We are in an unprecedented moment. Do you like capitalism?
No, I have many critiques of capitalism.
Aaron Burnett out front. Weekdays on CNN.
Every day we take a step back to look at the big picture. From decisions made in Washington to the ripple effects across Asia, Europe, and beyond. We follow the story as it unfolds and hear every voice to make sure the information is clear, fair, and relevant to you. In a world packed with noise, facts matter. That's what we do here. This is The Brief.
Did the re-election of Donald Trump play any role in your decision to resign?
Why do you need to study it? It sounds like you have the facts on your fingertips.
Great question. You continue to fight for your name to be cleared. Why?
Do you have any concerns about Elon Musk?
There really is much more that unites us as Americans than that which divides us.
A moment with huge consequences for the nation and the world.
Watch The Lead, weeknights on CNN.
CNN World Sport.
Non-stop action year-round.
I have a lot of things to give to the football.
All the major events.
I love where the game is going right now.
What does it take for me to be even better?
And tournaments.
Emotions sometimes are impossible to control.
The latest highlights.
Women's sport is having a moment that it should have always had.
And exclusive interviews with your favorite coaches and players. We're going to keep this thing rolling.
Iraq.
Don't miss CNN
World Sport, only on CNN.
Live pictures right now from Rio Rico, Arizona. This is where police activities continue at this hour. It's 12:40 a.m. in Arizona. We see law enforcement on the scene. Authorities right now are conducting a court-authorized search of a home there. This is something that they needed to get a warrant, which means that they had probable cause, that there's reason to search that home. A judge signed off on that, and now that search is underway. The Pima County Sheriff's Office says the operation could last for several hours. We've already seen them on scene there for several hours. It looks like they're now allowing some cars to get through. Now, it's important to point out, nobody's been charged with a crime here. And even the person they're talking to, they only say is being, detained, not a person of interest. A source says authorities still don't know where Nancy Guthrie is, and arriving at this home has not, so far at least, given them any clues into where she is. Let's go now to Sunny Slaughter, who is a law enforcement and litigation expert. She joins me live now from Washington. Welcome back to The Story Is. We spoke last night. You are a law enforcement and litigation expert. How do you see those two intersecting right now?
Thanks for having me again, Alex. One of the things that really critical right now is, as my law enforcement lens works, I know that they are doing all of the investigative processes, that they are following through, making sure that they have probable cause for the warrant so they can actually go into the home and look for the clues that they believe that the probable cause warrant is going to address. That means anything related to this case. On the litigation side, it is really, really critical that they do not cross any constitutional barriers. Meaning, if the person currently detained does not want to speak, they should not be questioning. If that person asks for an attorney, they need to stop questioning immediately. Every single thing is under the microscope, from when it goes from probable cause to investigation to courtroom to trial strategy and to the outcomes of this case. They do not want to compromise the investigation and locating Nancy Guthrie. That is the critical point, but they also don't want to compromise anything that can lead to the potential conviction and prosecution of an individual that they may be detained and questioning right now, or other suspects that are clearly attached to this case. So they have to be careful, but they have to execute all of the things that they need to do to find Nancy Guthrie, and that is where we are right now. I have full faith that the FBI and law enforcement have coordinated properly, that they are doing everything that is necessary. But I want to remind the public, they are doing this through the lens that they must, but also the lens, the long lens from the DAs and others watching it to ensure that they don't cross any barriers.
What a 24 hours since we spoke last. I mean, think about everything that happened over the course of this day. The releasing of this new video, this idea that some money was put into the Bitcoin account, the stopping of this person, the search warrant executed. What's your most important takeaway of the last 24 hours?
That they found this video, that there was something that law enforcement is always going to hold something back. And they may have had other information, I'm sure that they did, but this video was critical in getting the jump start to what we are seeing right now. It became, the video became to what was happening behind the scenes, that they weren't just sitting still and sitting quiet, and that we can move forward.
Obviously, we're having some technical problems with Sonny. Let's hope that this stays for at least this answer. In terms of where we go from here, we've seen quite a last 24 hours. What do we expect in the next 24 hours?
The next 24 hours is to really ramp up the efforts to locate Nancy, to get the person that is currently being detained to have the conversation if they know anything, to identify other potential people for questioning, and to find Nancy. And to do that, they need to get more answers. So the public needs to still be vigilant and not go silent just because they have a person detained. Still continue to call in those tips to the numbers that CNN has been putting out consistently, and to follow through with anything suspicious that they may know now that there's someone that they have detained and there are people in the area and houses are being searched. There's a lot to unpack in the next 24 hours.
Yeah, about 24 hours ago, you said you hope that you're wrong, that Nancy may no longer be with us. We all hope that you're wrong, at least on that front, and maybe this video will help make that happen. Sonny Slaughter, thank you so much for joining us once again and staying up late with us. We really appreciate it. In the past 10 days, we have seen many news reports about the abduction of Nancy Guthrie, the mother of NBC News anchor Savannah Guthrie. But Nancy Guthrie's life is about more than just the headlines. Here's Tom Foreman with a profile.
I'm gonna tell you! Are you kidding me?
To fans of the Today Show, Nancy Guthrie is more than just Savannah's mom. She is a mahjong player, an avid reader, an octogenarian with character to spare.
So this won't be one of those easy at-home recipes. No. Okay, tell me about what we have.
Not very healthy either.
While closer to her home, some know Nancy primarily as a pleasant neighbor.
We were not aware that Savannah Guthrie was her daughter. I mean, just a very normal person in a community.
On a winter day in 1942, with the Second World War raging, just south of Cincinnati, Nancy Ellen Long was born in Fort Wright, Kentucky. That's her in this old family photo on Instagram, where other pictures show how she grew up, went to college, married an engineer, Charles Guthrie, and they started a family while chasing his career around the globe. When they settled in Arizona, life remained busy, but good.
On Christmas Eve, my father would always gather us around and we would read the Christmas story in the Bible. And we always really loved that because I think it connected us to the holiday.
Then Charles died from a heart attack, leaving Nancy just in her mid-40s to take care of the kids on her own. Savannah, the youngest, was 16 at the time.
She has met unthinkable challenges in her life with grit, without self-pity, with determination, and always, always with unshakable faith.
Nancy eventually went to work in administration for the University of Arizona, excelling professionally and personally.
My kids are absolutely amazing.
As the proud mother of a pilot, a poet, and a journalist.
My mom, she's a truth teller, so she doesn't BS, if I guess I can say that. Sorry, Mom. And when I was in my 30s and wasn't sure I would ever have kids, she said, of course you will, honey.
Nancy,
of course you will have your family.
Wow.
Through it all, and despite declining health, her faith has deepened, to hear the family pastor tell it.
Over the years, we've gotten to know what makes her tick, in some ways from a faith perspective, the songs that mean something to her, the scriptures that are meaningful for her.
And yet, for all everyone knows about this outgoing, optimistic, accomplished woman, it's the unanswered questions that trouble now. Where is she? How is she? And when will she be back home?
We love you, Mom.
We love you, Mom. Stay strong.
We love you.
Tom Foreman, CNN.
So we will keep putting this number up there as much as we can. Authorities asking anyone with information about Nancy to contact the Pima County Sheriff's Department at that number on your screen, 520-351-4900, 520-351-4900. You can also contact the FBI directly. After that video came out today, there were a lot more tips coming in. Hopefully, some of those tips can help to finally find Nancy. Thank you so much for being with us for this extra hour of The Story Is tonight as we continue breaking news coverage. CNN is going to be on all night long with 24-hour coverage of this live. Rosemary Church will pick up the coverage next. I'm Elex Michaelson. Thanks for watching. I'll see you tomorrow.
This is my first visit to this conference. I listened to the Mines Minister, and it is extraordinary. The potential, the degree of commitment, the staggering investment dollars being talked about and already flowing and underway. I don't think we've ever seen anything like this in terms of the commitment to make it happen.
So Saudi Arabia wants to move beyond extraction, right? I mean, they're pretty new in the mining thing. They've been focused so much on oil that they sort of ignored the fact that they were also mineral rich. But they want to be a hub not only for extraction, but for processing as well.
Given the progress they've made here, I would say that in 10 years, they could be a very substantial force in the global mining industry. Now, if you think about it, they have the resources, the mineralization is there, they have the capital available. But what they need is the skill sets, the experienced people to come in and partner with them to make it happen.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Happiness could lead to living longer. You want to know how? On my podcast, Chasing Life, I'm uncovering the secrets of people around the world who are living happy, healthy, extraordinary lives. Hear how they do it and the science behind why it works. Join me as I reveal their secrets and discover how we can chase life together. Listen to Chasing Life with me, Dr. Sanjay Gupta, wherever you get your podcasts.
Innovations for the future. Business trends of the present. Distinctive traditions of the past. Meet the power players in Asia's emerging and established markets. Who will stand out from the competition? What will attract new industry consumers? Where will productivity hit a new level? And how will it impact the global economy? Join me, Christy Lustel, and me, Hanneke Montgomery, on Marketplace Asia.
This weekend on CNN.
We try to be global and we try to be smart. But I want to hear our authentic voices of people who are passionate or intelligent, and that's the consistency that we try to get at.
Fareed Zakaria GPS, Sundays on CNN.
Because your favorite show doesn't have to wait. Experience faster than your home Wi-Fi on board with Starlink, free for all passengers on Qatar Airways.
We've shared the stories of Africa's brightest stars, and now we're opening up the conversation, raw, real, and revealing. This is African Voices.
This week, Chef Marcus Samuelsson.
You have become one of the most visible ambassadors for Black and African cooking.
I can't just sit on the sideline and hope somebody else is going to do that.
African Voices on CNN in association with Glow. This is One World.
The world's top headlines with some of the world's biggest players.
Stories that captivate from two unique perspectives.
What does that mean for wider escalation?
One World with Zain Asher and Diana Golodriga. Weekdays on CNN.